infinite variety forever crossing a threshold.
In this retro video review, we go back to 2007. And what a colourful box we have. It is the RTC-80100 Series 2, and it's a rough terrain crane made by Link-Belt. As you can see, there's a nice picture of the real crane, and there's more on the back. It lists out model specifications, but these are not accurate. It does not have an offsettable fly jib, there's only one hook included, and all axles actually steer. If we turn the box around and look underneath, we can see that this model is made by NZG and it's model number 619.
Let's weigh it up.
As usual, the first job is to weigh the box, and it comes in at about 3 pounds 4 ounces. And after a bit of hesitation, it's nearly 1.5 kilograms. Open the box and see what's inside. And it's the usual pair of expanded polystyrene trays.
The infinite variety forever crossing a threshold.
After transporting it to site, let's put it together, and the first thing to do is to add the two counterweights. And to begin with, these get pinned together. We can then offer up the counterweight to the back of the crane, and it slots into position and is then secured by a steel pin on each side. To reduce the transport weight, the outrigger boxes are separate parts, and they get attached and clipped into place. To attach them, they get slotted into place by dropping them in, and then we go underneath to rotate the clip. And you can make sure it stays clipped by tightening up the screw. Next we add some detail, and that is the access ladders, which just are dropped in at the front. Out of the box you have to tie on the hook, and the last thing to do is to mount the fly jib onto the side of the boom.
Let's weigh it up again.
The crane goes onto the weighbridge and it comes in at 2 pounds 12 ounces, and in metrical speak that is 1.25 kilograms. Starting underneath, and the detailing is fairly plain. The main structure is modelled and there's linked steering, and the tyres have a decent tread pattern. At each end, the access ladders are metal, and there's nice sharp graphics and paintwork on top. The big chunky tyres are mounted on decent looking wheels, and there's a metal ladder for access to the cab. The simple outrigger beams are metal with some chevron highlighting on top, and the pistons have visible screw threads. The detailing of the cab is to a high standard. There's a mirror and wipers, but what's particularly nice are the very thin grab rails. Lights are indicated below the windscreen. A nice aspect of the model is the sharp decoration, and there are fixed textured walkways outside the cab. The walkway continues down the side of the body. There is some fine casting details in the body sides, and you can see a tank inside. Moving to the back, there are two winches, and there's a plastic mirror on each one. The drums are full of a reasonable quality rope. At the back, the counterweight blocks have some decoration, and there's the Link-Belt name. As you can see, there's some nice looking detailing on the opposite side, and that includes a grille and an exhaust pipe. Again, there are some more very thin looking grab rails, with panel detailing in the casting. The big toothed slewing ring is modelled, and there's another plastic grille on this side of the model. The jacket of the main boom ram is plastic. The shape of the boom sections is modelled well, with the walls not being as thin as on more modern models. The boom head is fairly simple, as is the headache ball hook that's provided. The fly jib has got nice quality lattice work. Back underneath, and the individual wheels spin freely, and the rear two axles have linked steering. It's a little bit stiff, but you can get a decent pose. The front axle also has steering. Out on the cranes etc. superhighway, the model rolls along reasonably well, but it's not particularly free rolling. But one thing you can certainly get is a very tight turning circle. To get ready for a lift, we need to extend the outrigger beams, and they are simple single stage beams. The pads get lowered by unscrewing, and here we're doing it at super double speed. And this kind of thing you can only see on cranes etc. Rotating the crane is initially quite stiff, but she's an old girl now, so she just needs a bit of exercise. The telescopic boom is extended in the usual way, and again there's a bit more stiffness than you might usually expect. But as there's only locking points at 100% extension, but there is enough friction in the system to be able to pose the boom how you want it. To operate the winches, you use the keys that are supplied, and they are friction winches rather than having a positive lock. A very nice feature on the model is the cab door, which slides open and shut. The fly jib is of the bifold variety, and to get the full length you open it up. We'll take the pin out and then rotate the end into position and slot the pin back in to lock it. The fly jib gets hooked on to the end of the boom head, and once it's accurately located you secure it with two long steel pins. Weaving up the hoist rope is easy because it just slots over the top of the fly jib. You can also have an alternative configuration, which is a half-length fly jib.
Time for a dim check.
The model is quite large with the boom fully extended, so let's do a dim check. And it's about 41 inches or 105 centimetres to the boom top, and 54 inches or 138 centimetres to the fly jib. This link belt model by NZG first appeared in 2006, and at the time it set a high standard for a crane model. The detailing is at a high level, and the functionality also makes it very flexible. It looks really good in the link belt colour scheme, and at the time the model was reviewed it was rated as excellent.